The perfect feeling of refreshment. What is your snack time and refreshing time without yogurt? Today I'm going to be teaching you how to make these two drinkable yogurts and different flavors. Yes, you heard me. So if this is the kind of video that you are interested to watch, then come with me as I walk you through the best way to make your drinkable yogurt, how to measure it accurately, the best way to ferment, and also how to make this fail-proof yogurt recipe. This recipe would never fail you. The right ingredients that I use and how to combine them all. I would also be teaching you how to sweeten your yogurt in two different ways, and one of which we are making from the scratch. So this video is all you need for your yogurt business and for your family. Welcome back to our yogurt series, my amazing viewers. Today's love is for Glory from Ghana. Thank you for engaging in our video. So as you always know, as our custom and tradition in this yogurt kingdom, in Alastash 247, we always start by sterilizing all our equipment. Anything that we are going to be using to make the very batch of yogurt, we always sterilize it right before we start using. And if you're wondering why, maybe you're coming across this video for the first time, then you need to go to the description. There you will find the link and it will take you to the other series. Make sure you start from the very beginning, okay? There are two other series before this one, so you want to watch them all. So if you think that you're getting value in this video, wait until you watch the other two series before this ones, because they actually give birth to this ones. So the more people ask questions, the more we try to answer the questions while producing more videos on this yogurt series. Why? Because we want your business to stand out. We want you to make the most outstanding yogurt out there and beat every other customers, every other yogurt vendors, hands down. So my recipes are well thoughtful and well articulated. They are fail proof. And what do I mean by this? They can never ever fail you if you follow the guidelines that I always tell you. Okay, so we are going to start by measuring our milk after fermenting, after sterilization. The next thing is to start measuring, okay? And what is yogurt without accurate measurement? That is why I don't just tell you add milk, add this. I tell you add this quantity of milk to this quantity of water, okay? So this is the milk I use, lacto-rich milk. So if you're not familiar with lacto-rich milk, when you go to the market, this is what you should be looking out for, okay? So once you get your lacto-rich milk, and yeah, a disclaimer, this is Nigeria. Some people maximize profit even at the expense of others. So some people actually buy other milk and then put them inside this lacto-rich bag just to disguise them, okay? So you want to measure out 250 grams of milk, and that is why I always advise that you should get familiar with the taste of lacto-rich milk, so that when you go to buy, ask your vendor for tasting, and then when you taste it and you are sure it's lacto-rich milk, you can then purchase. But if you are not sure, or maybe as a beginner, they can just sell just about anything to you, okay? So this is actually a disclaimer, so that you don't come saying my yogurt went bad even after buying lacto-rich milk, then there's something wrong, okay? So I had to put out this disclaimer because I've also had students who, like, she literally found out that they were selling fake lacto-rich milk in her area and she had to start ordering online. So stuffs like that, okay? So, and when you get a vendor that actually sells you good lacto-rich milk, hold that person. Don't let that person go, okay? Because there are just very few of them out there, okay? This is just a common factor, people are just trying to maximize their profit, and that's not fair. Sincerely, that's not fair, okay? So after getting the measurement of your milk, the next thing you should do is to start measuring your water, okay? And You know how we do it here. We don't boil. This is no boiling method of yogurt. We don't boil our milk, okay? So actually we measure out our water, and we are going to be using two waters here. We have our water 1 and then our water 2. Okay, our water 1 is going to be 100 and 1750 grams of water. Okay, so you can see I already have 1759 grams, and I'm just going to scoop out some of the quantities of the water until I get the actual measurement. You know, like I always tell you, accurate measurement is the start of your fail-proof yogurt. Okay, so if you're asking, can't I do this with a cup? Is there any way I can skip the measurement? The answer is no. You have to get yourself a measuring scale, okay, so that you can measure accurately. So you have to measure 1750 grams of your room temperature water, and this is going to be the water we'll use to mix in our milk. Okay, this is going to be our water 1. If we are to label it, say this is a project work, okay. So the next thing we are going to be measuring is our water 2, which is going to be the hot water, or the boiling water, the water you boil until like it gets really really hot, like the boiling temperature, you know, when your water boils. So I hope I explained that to the best of my knowledge. And then to do this, you're going to get your bowl, place it on your measuring scale, and tar the bowl to 0. Okay, so once you've done that, you now want to start pouring in your water. And for this water too, we are going to be measuring 750 grams of water, and then we are going to boil it. Okay, so at this point, I think this is the point you all need to subscribe if you're yet to subscribe to this channel, because I teach you with all my heart. And I don't know why some people will come across a video and they're like, wow, it's long. Then what will you now tell me that is teaching you? Me that is bringing out my time to teach you for free. Okay, so you need to be patient enough to get the knowledge in there. Okay, it's long because I have poured out my heart in here. Okay, so it takes a lot of time to film this, put it together, and still, you know, do the voiceover, and then, you know, still place it online with lots of data. You know, the shorter the better. It will not consume much data if it's short, but it's long, but I still upload it. It consumes data, but I still upload it, and this is because I have love for you. Okay, so after I measured out the 750 grams of water, I poured it into my kettle to boil, and then I transferred the 1750 grams into this bowl so that I can navigate my way through. Okay, so I now start mixing in my milk into this bowl because it's bigger and I can navigate my way through. Okay, so I start mixing in my milk into this bowl. Okay, so you want to just try as much as possible to, you know, mix in your milk, and, you know, try as much as possible to dissolve as much as you can. But if it doesn't dissolve completely, it's fine. Okay, because you're actually going to be sieving this at the end of the day, so it's fine if it doesn't dissolve completely. So if you're yet to subscribe, like, share, please do that right now. If you're a new person that is just seeing these videos for the first time, make sure that you go to the description box and get the link of the very first and second editions of how to make your yogurt, because they are always different. Okay, there's always something new to learn. And in this batch, you know, I am making drinking yogurt. In previous batch, I've made Greek yogurt. I've taught you how the best way to sweeten your yogurt like a pro, and how to, you know, preserve if you're using preservative, you know, stuffs like that. So I really take out my time to make sure that I'm not dishing out, the same thing over and over again. There's always something new to learn. And I've even taken my time to teach you about the business of yogurt production. That is the first edition, and that gave birth to every other editions that you're seeing because of the reactions, the questions, and stuff like that. So if you're ready to learn and also you're ready to, take your yogurt business to the next level, or maybe you've not even thought about making this as a business, this would even give birth to, to spark up something in you to know that this is not rocket science and I can do it. Okay, I can make money from this. So there's some people like that. Okay, so right about now, I'm just going to boil my boiling water into the, dissolved yogurt. So the truth is that I would have sieved before boiling this hot water, but I just found out that the lumps totally dissolved. Okay, so but just to, clear your curiosity, because I know some people will be like, is it only Greek yogurt that they sieve? Don't they sieve drinking yogurts? So the answer is just that I found out that there were no lumps in it, so I had to skip that step of sieving before adding my hot milk. But just to clear your curiosity, I'll still definitely sieve this just to show you that there are no lumps whatsoever. Now after pouring in your hot water, you have to allow this to sit. Okay, when you dip in your finger, you can count to 10 without feeling the burning sensation. Then you would know that your milk is, warm enough. Or when you place it at the back of your palm and you don't feel the burning sensation counting from 1 to 10, then you would know that your milk is ready. Okay, so I'm just going to like sieve this through just to, show you that there are no lumps in it. Okay, actually I should use a sieve doing this, but the truth is that the lumps actually dissolved completely. So I just want to like pour this into another bowl or another container and then show you the particles down there, just to show you that there is nothing in there. So at a point I just decided to get my sieve just to, clear your curiosity, clear the air. Okay, so I'm just going to sieve through this net just to show you that everything is nice and clear. Okay, but ideally you should sieve. Okay, ideally you should sieve so you can see the net. Okay, so that is just, I think there were 2 lumps there, so thank God I actually ended up sieving. Okay, thank God I actually ended up sieving this. Okay, so you have to sieve your milk to, remove lumps. Okay, so don't assume just like me. Okay, always sieve. Okay, so you see, at this point you're just going to allow the yogurt to sit. Okay, allow it to sit until, when you come back and, add your finger into it, it will not be hot enough to burn you. Or when you place it at the back of your palm, you will not feel the burning sensation. Okay, so this is not something that you just keep and go your way. Okay, you have to stay by, because it doesn't even take time to, drop in temperature. So you don't want it to drop like the point that it would now alter your incubation process. Okay, so you don't want it to go too cold. Okay, so once you do this check and it's good to go, then that's fine. Okay, so for my starter I'm going to be using Greek yogurt, and like I always say, the properties of your yogurts, of your starter, is what you are actually introducing into your yogurts. Please don't mind the lights the lightning. Okay, so the whatever the properties that are in your starter is what you are actually introducing into your yogurt. So always check this. Okay, so you can see the properties of my Mitch and K, and I love all those properties, and that is why I always use them. It's not a must to use Mitch and K, but to get the actual result that I always get, use Mitch and K. That's the least I can say. So actually in my next video, go because someone asked. I'll be using dry starter to make yogurt, and let's see how that goes, okay? Because I've gotten that request so much. Okay, actually I never ever use dry starter, those powdered ones. I never use them to produce yogurt, but because someone has asked, I would make a video of that, and let's see how it goes. So for this batch, this is about 2 to 3 spoons that I managed to scoop out from this, because I've already used this yogurt for, you know, production before now, and this is about 2 to 3 spoons left, but it did a nice job. Okay, so for this quantity of your drinking yogurt, I would recommend you use 2 to 3 spoons. Okay, and because this economy is tough, so I just had to get out everything from the container. Okay, it's usable, so why should I just toss it out? So I just had to like rinse the container, rinse and rinse and rinse and rinse. Don't blame me, blame the economy. Okay, this is my money and I have to utilize it. So at this point, I have to remind you again to subscribe, like, share, you know, follow for more, turn on your notification bells, because we are not ending here. So till we answer all your questions, till we clear all the doubts, till we satisfy your curiosity, till you start your business and you are doing very, very well, I'm not going to stop posting this yogurt series. Okay, so whenever you have any question, drop it in the comment section, because we can just make a whole tutorial just because of your question, just because I want to answer your question. So don't be shy. Whatever your question is, drop it in the comment section. This is me answering to someone. Okay, I've posted Greek yogurt twice and someone requested drinking yogurt, and here we are making drinking yogurt just to answer someone's question. So you never can tell, your question can just prompt us to do a whole entire video, and others would also benefit from it. Okay, so I just introduced my starter culture to the milk, and then the next thing we're going to do is just to incubate. Okay, so we're going to incubate. Okay, so your questions, drop them in the comment section. If you're yet to subscribe, believe me, you're shooting yourself in the leg, because you're not going to, you know, you're going to miss out from subsequent videos, and you don't want that. Now I'm just going to quickly show you what to expect from this quantity of milk and water. So you're going to be expecting 2.5 liters of yogurt. That is 2,500 something, but because of the weight of the bowl is getting to 2,700 and stuffs like that. Okay, so minus the weight of the bowl, you should actually expect 2,500 grams of yogurt, or 2.5 liters of yogurt from this batch. Okay, so the measurement of the milk is 250 grams, and the measurement of the water, that's adding water 1, which is 1,750, and water 2, which is 750, that would give you 2.5 liters of yogurt. Okay, so that's actually 2.5 liters of yogurt. Okay, so right about now we are just going to incubate our yogurt, and I always tie my container with a nylon, and then I prepare my incubation medium, and my incubation medium is just a cooler lying around, and then I line it with my blanket, and then add a thick nylon into it, and that's just my incubation medium. So it's nothing too serious. Okay, it's nothing too serious. Okay, so this is something that you can actually make at home. The incubation medium is something you can actually like make at home. Okay, so there's nothing too serious in this. Okay, so this is me incubating our 2.5 liters of yogurt. So like I mentioned, the quantity of milk is 250 grams and the quantity of water is 2.5 liters of water. Okay, and we divided it into two: water 1 being 1750 and water 2 being 750. Okay, so we're going to leave this to incubate for 8 hours. Okay, for 8 hours, and 8 hours later we are going to be checking on our yogurt. Okay, so this is 8 hours later and our yogurt is nice and ready. So let's check this together. So I start by feeling the temperature of the blanket, and whenever your temperature is warm, just know that all went well. There was no drop in temperature. The temperature that you started with is what you ended with. Okay, so you can see the yogurt through this nylon and is already giving. So let's just untie everything and confirm our yogurt. Okay, so I'm just going to unwrap this. There is no time. I just tore everything open because I needed to see what's going on in here as soon as possible. And if you have any questions to this point, make sure you drop it in the comment section. Like I said, a whole video can be made for you just to answer your question. That is how much I want you to succeed in this yogurt business. Trust me, you can't find the content of what we are dishing out here for free elsewhere. Sincerely, this is a whole paid course and I am dishing it out for free. So you can see that our yogurt formed, like it's really formed. Okay, so this is not Greek yogurt. We are not going to be sieving the whey just like some people do. Although my special Greek yogurt recipe, you don't need to sieve any whey. Okay, it comes out thick to the very core, like even thicker than some people sieved yogurt. So I'm just going to whisk this up. So if you have an egg whisk, you can use an egg whisk. If you don't have, you can just use a spoon or something, but the best should be an egg whisk, or you can use your hand mixer, whatever mixer you have to mix this up. But the main thing that you want to do is to break up the lumps and get a very smooth texture of yogurt. Okay, so I intentionally used this procedure so that I can show you that you can do this without a mixer, because I always use a stand mixer to incorporate everything and make it nice and smooth. But today I decided to just use the spoon in my kitchen, this spaghetti spoon. So I decided to use this just to show you that you can also do without the mixer for the smoothing. Okay, so if you've not watched the first 2 episodes, like I mentioned earlier, it's going to be in the description. The link to it will be in the description, so do well to check it out. Okay, so you can see at this point the yogurt is smooth enough. Okay, you can see it's smooth enough. So this is what it looks like. Okay, so don't mind this yogurt. Okay, don't mind it for now, because the temperature is still warm, so you don't expect it to give you the full potential now. So we are going to refrigerate this, and then the real texture of the yogurt will show after refrigeration. So after making your yogurt, don't be in a hurry to judge the texture until you have refrigerated it. Okay, so don't be in a hurry to judge the texture of your yogurt until you've refrigerated it. Okay, so this is just me mixing and mixing and mixing just to make sure that the yogurt is nice and smooth. Okay, so if you've watched this video to this point and you have a question, drop it in the comment section. And if there's someone that you would like to learn this with you, share this to them, because this year there is money to be made, and it is my sincere like sincerely I wanted to make the money. That's just what I want to say. That's just the thing in my mind. Okay, there is money to be made. There is money to be made from yogurt pastries business, and I want you to, milk the industry, milk it dry, okay? And I'm not just going to be telling you, I'm giving you theories, I'm giving you fail-proof recipes. So we are just going to refrigerate these, okay? And then we'll come back to learn the 2 ways of sweetening this yogurt, okay? So guys, while our yogurt is busy chilling and refrigerating, I'm just going to show you the 2 ways of making our sweetener. And the first way, we are going to be using sugar, okay? So I'm using a 1/4 cup of sugar, okay? I already poured in some of it into the plate before I even started recording, so it's just 1/4 cup of sugar. So and then the second way to sweeten will be with our condensed milk, but we'll focus on preparing the first one because that one needs to be prepared, okay? You are going to prepare it from the scratch, okay? So this is just me making simple syrup. Some people actually pour in their sugar into their yogurt like that, and sincerely, that's their own method though, but this method actually works best for me. So I don't just give you raw sugar to drink, okay? I make a syrup out of it, and then I introduce the syrup into the yogurt. Your health is my priority, so more than making yogurt, make a healthy yogurt, okay? But ordinarily, I don't even use this method to sweeten my yogurt, especially since I discovered the use of condensed milk, because it's actually creamier. It's creamier, sincerely, it's creamier. So I don't even use the sugar syrup method. But if you must use sugar, use it healthy now, my people, okay? So don't just pour in your sugar inside yogurt and then serve people. Please, I beg you in the name of God. If you're doing it, this is another way, a better way to do it, so you can actually incorporate this way instead of pouring raw sugar into yogurt and serving people to drink. Now when you start doing this, you will notice that there are grains of sugar in the water. So did I mention the quantity of the water? Pardon me if I did not. So this is just a simple sugar syrup. So it simply means that the quantity of the sugar and the quantity of the water should be equal, okay? So you pour in, if you are pouring in 1 cup of sugar, you're going to be using 1 cup of milk. Sorry, did I say milk? 1 cup of water. So if you're using half cup of sugar, it should be half cup of water. So it's just the ratio of the sugar and the water should be equal. Even if you want to use this plate that I'm using to measure, and you pour in 1 plate of sugar, just pour in 1 plate of milk, 1 plate of water as well, okay? So the ratio of the sugar and the water should be equal. That is how to make your simple syrup and make it well and nice, okay? So you're going to stir this consistently until you can no longer find the grains of sugar down there. So I'm just showing you the process. So at this point, you can find little grains of sugar down there, okay? So you keep stirring, and you're doing this on low heat. Emphasis on low heat, okay? So you're going to be doing this on low heat until the grains are no longer visible, and then the water starts to boil, okay? So once you notice that there are bubbles and the water has started boiling, there is no need keeping this on heat for a longer period of time, okay? So this is it. So you can see at this point the grains are beginning to melt down completely, and then you can see that the grains are no longer visible. So at this point you are almost halfway to getting done, and then the next thing that you start seeing is the boiling bubbles. So you can see that the grains are no longer down there, they have melted away completely, okay? So like I said, this is just one way to sweeten your yogurt, and the second way is using condensed milk. So at this point you can see that the bubbles have started coming up, okay? So this is getting closer to boiling over, okay? So once you start noticing the bubbles, just like I am noticing down there, you can now turn off your heat, okay? So you can see it's getting closer to boiling over, and you don't want it to boil over. So once you notice the bubbles like this, you're just going to turn off your heat and bring this down and allow it to cool completely before using it. Okay, emphasis on cooling completely before use. Okay, don't use it hot, allow it to cool completely before you use it. So I'm just showing you the bubbles, and okay, so this is it. So you can see the bubbles are already forming, and then I just turned off my heat, and then I'm just going to allow this to cool completely before I use it. Okay, so this is it. This is what your sugar syrup should look like. Okay, so if you have any questions on this, please drop it in the comment section. So at this point, this syrup has cooled completely, and these are the two ways that we're going to be sweetening our yogurt with. And a quick disclaimer: the sugar syrup method is like an old method to me, because ever since I discovered the condensed milk method, it's been what I use. Okay, it's been what I use. So you can see that my yogurt self, the quantity has reduced, and that's because I even started drinking it even before I concluded the part of this video. So at this point, you cannot judge the consistency of your yogurt. So because I'm using freezer, somehow I like overleft this in the refrigerator. You can see that it's still blocking. And please don't allow your yogurt to freeze, because when it freezes and defreezes, it loses part of its consistency. Like it becomes watery in a way. So this is an oversight by me, because I just drank part of it, and then the remaining part was not that big. Okay, so that is even why it froze in the first place. If it was the same 2.5 liters that I kept in the fridge, it wouldn't have frozen, because the quantity is bigger, and the time of freezing would actually not be that, it wouldn't have frozen up. That's just the thing. So the main thing I'm showing you here is just the consistency. Okay, so you can see that it's not that watery again. And for a drinking yogurt, I gave this a solid 1000/100, because it's quite thick for a drinking yogurt. Okay, so this is not a Greek yogurt, it's a drinking yogurt, and you just want to gulp it down your throat. So it doesn't need to be as thick as whatever is in your mind, but I believe that this passes for a drinking yogurt and passes with an A. So but if you have any questions or any suggestions, please drop it in the comment section. So for the sake of this video, I'm going to divide this yogurt into two. One part I'm going to be sweetening with the sugar syrup, the other part I'm going to be sweetening with the condensed milk. And I have already told you my absolute best, which is the condensed milk recipe. Okay, so we are going to start with the sugar syrup recipe, and in no particular order, without any much ado or serious measurements standard. Just throw in your sugar syrup into your yogurt and stir. Okay, and as you do this, you just taste as you go. Okay, so you're going to be tasting this as you go. Okay, so you don't need to there's no measurement that I have noted down for this. Even if I'm making 10 liters, 100 liters, it's just to pour in your sweetener and taste. And like I mentioned, this sugar syrup is the first way I was sweetening my yogurt before I discovered the condensed milk. So more or less, I don't even use sugar syrup to sweeten my yogurt anymore. But if it is what will work for you, then fine and good, by all means do, because a lot of people use it and like it works. But if you want a creamier, tastier yogurt, then use condensed milk. Okay, so you just need to do your plus and minus and know how much to sell your yogurt using whichever way. Okay, so but for me, the tastier, the creamier yogurt would always be the one I sweeten with condensed milk. So I had to do these two different methods just for the sake of this tutorial, because of people that are asking and asking and asking, so that you will not be limited to just one way. This way also works. So at this point, that is sweet enough for my taste bud. Then I'll proceed to the second one, which is the condensed milk method. Okay, so in no particular order, without using so much, without any measurement stipulated, you just pour in your condensed milk into your yogurt. Okay, so this is it. You can see me just pouring my condensed milk. So that is why you have to do it little by little, okay, so that you don't overdo it. Okay, so that you don't overdo it, you just pour in your condensed milk, and then you stir, and then you taste, and then your taste bud tells you whether to go on or to leave it at what it is. Okay, so over time you can maybe develop a measurement for this. Okay, maybe let's say if you're doing 10 liters of yogurt, maybe you can now find out that maybe 2 things of condensed milk will work, and then you just pour in 2 things just like that without tasting and tasting. So this is me giving you like a guideline and telling you what I use. So in your own time, you can develop a measurement for this. Okay, so this actually works best for me. First, because I don't even have to use sugar, which I don't like using. Okay, then secondly, because it's creamier. Okay, so this is my go-to. This is my go-to, my everyday go-to. Okay, so this is it. I also promised in this video, I'll be showing you how to make strawberry yogurt. Okay, strawberry yogurt. So immediately after sweetening, we are going to dive right in making strawberry yogurt. So as these two yogurts are, even the fact that we sweetened with two different things, it doesn't matter. The two of them like this is vanilla yogurt. Okay, the two of them like this, they are vanilla yogurt. Okay, so you can package and sell them as your vanilla yogurt. Okay, so for the strawberry yogurt, I'll be showing you that next. Okay, so if you've watched this video to this point, this is the perfect time to subscribe to this channel, because you don't even know what is coming your way. Like I said, I am dedicated to bringing mouth-watering lush recipes, super effective, tested and trusted, proven, fail-proof recipes. Can you feel that introduction? So I'm dedicated to bringing you things that you can work on and use as a side hustle without having to break a bank or even buy so much equipment for it. So this is something that you can make at the comfort of your home without having to buy so much equipment. Okay, from your kitchen, you're just going to make this. Okay, so right about now, these are the 2 ways to sweeten your yogurt. Okay, and like I said, the 2 of them are vanilla yogurt. Some people call it plain yogurt. Okay, so you choose what you want to name yours in your packaging. Okay, so 2 of them, you can name them plain yogurt or vanilla yogurt, so depending on whatever you want to name them. Okay, it's all fine. Okay, so right about now, we are going to be moving into the next section, which is making your strawberry yogurt, and I'm going to be using the yogurt in the pink bowl. I'm going to be using this one in the pink bowl to teach you how to make your strawberry yogurt. And for me, this is quite simple. This is the most cost-effective way of making strawberry yogurt. Okay, so you're just going to buy this strawberry flavor from the market. So there are different strawberry flavors in the market, but you have to tell them that you want the strawberry flavor with color. so that you don't, maybe after adding your strawberry flavors, you now still come and add acabado food coloring to it. Okay, as some people do. Some people buy the plain strawberry flavor, the one without color, and then after adding it, they would now come and add pink acabado food coloring to it. And to me, that's just a lot. That's a lot of synthetic stuff. Even this one that I'm using, I'm even guilty about it. Okay, but it tastes nice. It tastes nice. Sincerely, it tastes nice. Now, alternatively, some people make strawberry puree, and then, from real fresh strawberry, they make a puree out of it and they use it to make their strawberry yogurt. I don't know how that works for them. I don't know how they make their profit, because strawberry is actually very expensive. But this is like the cost effective way of making strawberry yogurt. So just go to the market where you buy your cake stuffs, tell them that you want strawberry flavor, the one with color. Okay, so I guess we are fine with my explanation. So you can see it's just because of the camera is making it look plain, but if you go closer you will see that it's actually pink. But I'm going to bottle this up so that I can see the real color. Okay, so you can see the real color, and don't make the mistake of putting too much. When you put, allow it to sit for a while, the main color will pop out after a while. Okay, so you can see after a while the main color will actually pop up. So don't make the mistake of putting too much, and then after a while the pink will not be pinking. Okay, so this is it after bottling it up. So you can see the color is just looking like what's the name of this yogurt now? Hollandia yogurt. Okay, so with this you've made yourself nice yogurt that everybody would love. So bye.